Hey guys, so I'm just sharing this to the Facebook area so that way they can see everything. But somebody had told me we hadn't put out a video in a bit, and they were correct. I have two or three filmed. I just haven't edited them. So I said, we'll just go live and talk with a few people here. So figure we do that and answer some questions. So um, yeah, like I said, we'll go live here. I hadn't put up a video in like a week or a week and a half. I was out. I had surgery on my mouth and pulled some teeth, such like that. And we've got the car behind us. Wanted to answer some questions. I've got a couple videos, like I just said, in the computer, and yeah, just waiting. But anyway, sorry. So what we decided to do is we'll just oh, we've got all kinds of fun stuff popping up here. We're gonna do a live stream, give you guys an update. And go from there. So as you can see behind me, there's the car. Um, Intake manifold is now off of it. We are getting ready to. We had to just take a look at all the lifters, everything in there before we buttoned everything up. So we're make sure everything is good underneath there, getting it all ready. The intake manifold is just off screens right over here, and we're gonna get that kind of put down on, sealed up, and ready. Our goal today is Saturday the 23rd, so we want to fire this off on Monday, which is going to be Memorial Day. So that's kind of our plan to get it fired off. If you can't hear me, let me know. Or actually, if you can't hear me, you wouldn't know I asked that question. But let me know if you can, if all the audio is good. So looks to be all right. I'm just checking audio levels there. So let us know that if you're in here. Check in. Let us know. But yeah, our plan is we're getting everything kind of welded up on this. The last we're getting the wastegates on and plumbed, and then we're gonna fire this thing off. So that's our goal. Sorry, we're just this is our first time doing the live deal. So just learning it on here for YouTube. We've done live many times for um, I'm sorry, Facebook, but the YouTube stuff they're a little bit different. So anyway, so yeah, we're getting all that ready on the car. The intake manifold is right there. And that's kind of where that we're sitting on that. We're trying to get it all. Like I said, we want to fire this thing off on Monday since we have. There it is. Okay, since we have the long weekend, we don't have anything going on. We want to try to get it fired up since we have the time. The season's getting closer and closer every day, and even though all this COVID crap is going on, we still plan on racing. We're gonna race no matter what. I don't care where we have to go. We'll travel down south. We'll travel wherever, and we'll get it down a track. So um, other updates we have on there. We have the fuel system plumbed on. Pretty cool little deal. The fuel pressure regulator is a new design from APD where it has two bypasses on there. One is for basically under boost, and one is at idle. So what that's going to do is drop the fuel pressure at idle. so you're not blowing past needles and seats and running rich. Once it sees any boost, because it's a boost reference regulator, it shuts off that low speed. We'll call it a low speed, and it'll take off and start adding boost pressure on there. So pretty nice little setup there. You can see that's right here. It looks like a big old spider web everywhere. Since we don't have injectors, we've got four different feed lines, two returns, and a giant, well, four lines up to the carb, one feed to the regulator, and two returns back to the deal there. So yeah, we have all that going on. I've got people walking back here right now. So um, there we go. Let's see. But other than that, yeah, we're like I said, we're just trying to get this thing ready. If we can fire it up on Monday, we are going to go up a week next weekend. We'll be up in Fargo at Art Wraps, getting the entire car wrapped with the new design. And then after that, you guys won't see the car itself altogether or anything like that. Maybe mainly the body stuff. You guys won't see that until we do the reveal. And we are working with the Vigilant Guardians Veterans Motorcycle Club here in Minnesota. They have a open house on the 13th of June, but the with all the stuff that's going on, and we have an amazing governor that wants to basically shut down the entire state. They don't know if they're still going to have that, but if they do end up not having the actual open house, we're still going to do a reveal, and we'll do a live deal with all the guys from the Vigilant Guardians. They are great guys. We actually are working with them. It's a partnership this year. They wanted to kind of get their name out there to more veterans for the club who are into motorcycles, motorsports, things like that. So they're working with us. They're going to be on the car this year, and they said, we want to help you guys out. You can help us out. I want any veterans that are into motorcycles or anything like that to give them a call, take a look at it, even if you're just a supporter, where you're like, I'm not going to be a bike club guy, but I want to support these guys there. You can do that as well. And they thought it'd be a cool thing to kind of, I don't want to call it a sponsorship, but partner with us. And they got us tires for the cars, which is really neat. And they said, we like the big burnouts that you do. So we want to see those come back. So it will be, all of our burnouts are basically brought to you by the Vigilant Guardians, which is a really cool thing because tires are expensive. And I go through about two sets a year, if not more. So they said they're going to get us, one or two sets. Really neat. And we get to do big burnouts, which people like to see as well. So, but we're going to then do a reveal with the Vigilant Guardians Motorcycle Club of the wrap and the new design, everything like that for the car. We are waiting right now on, with all the shutdowns and everything, we're waiting on, wow, what is it? BTE and some parts. They had to have parts that were hardened for inside the transmission. And with the shutdowns and everything like that, they can't get the parts hardened. So BTE is waiting to get these parts hardened and get the parts, things like that. And they're waiting for basically the place that does all the hardening of parts to open back up so it can go through the heat treating process and then get it back. So right now we are waiting on a transmission. Very excited to get a this good transmission, but we are waiting on that to be able to continue to get the car done. So when it comes to the reveal, we may be able to fire it up. We may be able to we'll be able to pull it off, show everybody, but we don't know if we're gonna have the transmission or not with all these shutdowns. And the sooner we get that, the better, because once this is fired up, hopefully Monday, like I've said, we can then get the transmission in there and then start scaling it, burnouts, testing, getting the bump box figured out, and doing all of that. We already know we're probably going to go through one or two transmission fluid fills before we even hit the track. Just heating up transmission stuff and seeing where everything's at, and setting the bump boxes, setting the two steps, seeing how much boost it makes, all of that. We have our chassis dyno, which I showed you the intake manifold, which is right there. And if you look right here, that's our chassis dyno and 4-post hoist. There's the front end sitting up there. So we have everything kind of sitting around here, kind of waiting. We want to get out to the track. Unfortunately, in Minnesota right now, the tracks are they don't consider them essential. They don't consider them whatever. They don't consider them important. I don't know what you want to say. So there's a lot of races going on outside of Minnesota. They're heading over to like Iowa. They're down to Iowa. Over in Wisconsin, there's some events going on. People are just traveling everywhere from Minnesota to go elsewhere to go race. So we're just kind of waiting on, we'll travel as well. I don't care. Like I've said before, I'll take the car to Great Lakes Dragaway over in Wisconsin to go test if we have to. I don't care. We're not going to put all this time and effort into a car and not, test on it or even drive it, hit the track. Um, so let us know if you have any questions. We've had some questions through some things like that. Let us know if you have questions about the car, about the racing, about us, anything like that. Would love to answer some questions for you guys. Um, let's see. A couple of the questions that I have heard or people have messaged us is how, obviously we keep advertising and saying it's a 3,000 horsepower build on there, and we say that multiple times: 3,000 horsepower, 3,000 horsepower. And where are we getting those numbers or ideas from for that? And sorry, I'm just double checking a couple small things on here. I've got two screens going at the same time, so I apologize. And I have ADD, so and it makes it even worse. But as I was saying there, this engine made 3,000, something like that, a little over 3,000, with a 1471 blower on it. It did that in a 63 Polara. This was the old Bad Judgment engine. And they were about 30 to 32 pounds of boost. So we did change a camshaft. The bottom end is the same because the compression ratios are about the same as what we wanted to run and what they ran. So that's great to there. And we plan on with this engine and turbo setup to run about 25 to 35 pounds of boost. I'd like to live in that 30-pound range. So if this has 30 pounds of boost and the other engine had 30 pounds of boost on there and it made 3,000, I mean, this is basic math. We can kind of figure that out. The only thing that did change is the camshaft and the intake manifold design, but we're also not having the parasitic loss of spinning a blower. So that's why we are advertising, or we say that 3,000 horsepower build or range is kind of what we're going for on there. If you look at the heads flow in that 525 range, around that 750 to 800 is what these flowed. So we can do the math of cubic inch, RPM, head flow, everything like that, and naturally aspirated, this engine would make in that 1,000 horsepower range. Now you cram one atmosphere on top of that, 14.7 to 15 pounds on top of there, you're going to be double the horsepower, 2,000. So cram another atmosphere on top of it, right around that 30 pounds. You've added another 1,000 horse to it. So they're 3,000. So in the two different ways of doing the math on it, we figured that out on there. What else? We've had people ask how fast is it going in the quarter? The weight we're estimating it's going to be, and the power, and then you still got to ramp power in. You're not going to be able to hit 3,000 off the line. This will be in that 650 range, like 230 mile an hour, roughly. Um, and we're estimating it'll be 2,700 pounds. Those are just estimates right now. Well, once we get the transmission, because they did have to add parts to the transmission that are going to be heavier. The body is different. We added length to the wheelbase because the old car was 103, and this car is sitting 112, 113. Stretched like 1 or 2 inches from factory fifth gen. I think that's a 112, so it should be like 113, 114, that area. I'd have to double check. I can't remember all of it off the top of my head. So with the extra basically 10 inches in there, you're adding more tubes, everything like that. We redesigned some of the front end stuff. Chad, that did the chassis on here, redid that. Um, so yeah, so the body's going to be wider, taller, so it's going to add more weight. So, um, but we went to a carbon fiber wheelie bar, which the next video that's coming out, we'll say this week. I'm gonna try to put 2 out this week, possibly 3. We'll see how much time I get. But the next one that comes out is measuring and setting up everything for the Voss carbon fiber wheelie bars. Pretty cool deal there. We worked with Corey Voss down in Florida. We got all the measurements, and we have a whole other deal of how you measure for carbon fiber wheelie bars. So if you want to order a set, you know how. But you can also see just kind of what the process is, even if you're a small tire guy and you go, "Oh, that's how they do it. That's silly." Okay, cool. We like them. So, uh, yep. Think yeah. Well, since I have a laptop and wireless, I can show you guys around the car live. And if you guys have questions, ask them. So, yes, the camera is backwards. This says LSX, not X. What X51 or whatever on there. Um, so here is the car all kind of torn apart. Like I said, we are getting ready to seal the manifold down. If you look, this is really weird holding the laptop doing it. There we go. So all of the ports are O-ringed. That we got it that way from Kilpatrick Racing Engines. So everything is O-ringed on there. To seal the manifold, and then the manifold also has a like an O-ring type deal on there, so it seals even better. We will put, just because it's our first time using O-rings, and I'm a little leery on it, I'm going to put up just a little bit of RTV on there, and then along the China rail. Where are we at? Can we get all the way down there? Yep, the China rail here. We'll get it there too. So we'll get it all sealed up, get the intake on, bolted down, everything like that. The wiring, Ethan, our crew guy, he said, "I want to wire this car." I said, "Okay." He's really good wiring. He does all the wiring here at Paradigm. So he said, I want to do it. So let's go like this, and there it is. So he built. Sorry that it's a little bit bouncy, but he built this 2-tier stand. So we have our grid, and we have the MSD Pro 600 on here. This is our boost control module, because we are using the grid for all of our boost control. Davis bump box on here. We do have an ARC module on here. So if you don't like it, I don't care. We do have a traction control, but we also use there we go. We also use that ARC module because that is a good way for us to integrate the drive shaft speed into all of our data logging and everything on there. So go through there, go into the grid and everything, so we can see when timing moves on there, or when the drive shaft is moving, we can pull timing, things like that. So it's a really cool deal on that. Um, the interior is all done in here on the back. So carbon fiber tubs, all black, lightweight aluminum interior panels. Pretty neat. If we go to the back over here, we have our fire suppression system in. You guys saw the video on that. We have battery in, shut off. We have our brake lights installed. All 4. Those are a factory brake light from a 2012 SS, something like that. So we have those in. Yeah, it's been just a full on getting everything together. The rear end, let's go like that. There we go. Rear end is all put together. Carbon brakes, AFCO shocks, Lamb brakes. We have our gears put in. We run a 370 gear. And then we have the bars kind of just adjusted where we think they're going to need to be at. So, yeah, that's kind of a quick update. We have You can come over here. Show we've been working on getting the wastegates on. We'll touch on that in another episode that's coming up in about a week. Um, and that's kind of where we're sitting. So this was, like I said, I have a couple of videos that are filmed. They just aren't edited together. I feel terrible for not getting them out, so I want to do just a live walkthrough, show you guys what's going on, what our plans are for the 2020 race season, and our official plans are get the car done. Obviously, we want to get out and test. So if none of the tracks in Minnesota are open, we're going to travel. We're going to go to Wisconsin or Iowa or wherever we need to go test on this. We have a lot of friends out by Chicago and Great Lakes Dragaway over in Wisconsin, so we may even make the trip all the way over there to go see all of them and test over there, and get a couple of other minds together on that. Um, we're hoping in June here that the tracks do open up, and then we'll run the Cache at the Creek races. In July, we will be out at BIR, Brainerd International Raceway, for the show and go. That's we always do pretty good at that event. It's a fun event to go to. That's going to be a big one of making sure we have licensing done before then. So our testing that we're going to do, we're hoping to get some licensing done. Currently, I just hold the standard 750 cert license, and I need to get the advanced DT so we can go into the sixes. The car will be certified for six flat. We'll be capable of going sub 750. But if I go, 7.0 on a 750 cert license, it's thrown out, so it don't matter. So that's usually at the clocks on like Brainerd quarter mile races. We have those issues. So and then last year, that people have already asked and had said things when we had the wreck that happened last year. That was we were trying to do some licensing. That we were running at the tail end of qualifying, things like that, to try to get that license, and then we ended up having issues with the car. Let's see, what other questions have we had come through? Um, oh, people have asked, and I don't mind talking about it. What happened for the wreck on the old car? That's fine. I don't mind talking about it. So, the old car or the original car, whatever you want to say, last year's car, the when we flipped the car, um, it was going down the track. Let's start here. We had a lot of different tunes for eighth mile for that car, for that engine combination, transmission combination, everything like that. And then we put more gear in it to run quarter mile. So when we were out at BIR with the original or with the third gen that flipped, we were taking and we would run the car down the track, and it went with the quarter mile gears in it went like 470, 474, something like that to the eighth. And then so we would go to like 5 seconds into the pass and then shut the nitrous off, finish it out NA. Then we'd stretch it out to like 5.5 seconds, make some changes on there, like that, shut it off, finish out NA. Kept stretching it out further and further every pass, maybe by a tenth or two, maybe a half a second, just to get a good tune on there. So it hurt stuff. We had a very healthy jet in it. If you, it was over like 2,800 pph, right around there. You're talking right around 800, 750 to 800 horse shot on it. And when it was going down, it was going down track. Everything was accelerating nice. The nitrous shut off, and it pulled 800 horse of nitrous away from that car. And it did this. They kicked it, unloaded the rear suspension. Well, we had some rear steer in the car like that, and when it did that and unloaded, it kicked off to the side. I was already a little bit out of the groove, but I'd been doing that all weekend, and it was driving. We were just trying to put a little bit more rear steer in it to bring it back, and it would come over, but then we put a little bit more power and longer in. So it was this big battle we were kind of doing there. Well, when it kicked off to the side and unloaded the chassis, it hit the wall. When it hit the wall, it broke the wishbone that centers everything. So it's got 2 points here, one here. It broke the wishbone. So now the rear end could do whatever it wanted on there. When it did that, it turned around and then backed into the wall, into the other wall, and then lifted up and then flipped upside down. And then you guys have probably seen the video. If you haven't, send us a message. We can send you a link or whatever. So um, that's what happened. How it was caused. Could I have been, more into the groove, further over? Yes. I'm not going to say that I'm not up to blame on that. I could have, tried to hold it further in the groove or gotten out of it so it wasn't, it was closer to the groove. But when I'd already made, four passes and it was doing the same thing, I just kept doing what it was doing on there. Um, could we have, okay, only made eighth mile hits on it and everything like that? Yes, we could have only made eighth mile hits until it was going 100% perfectly straight. But when we had the, we'll call it pressure, we're trying to get license so we can go faster. It was a brand new car. We had a lot of people watching us because, well, we do put ourselves out there, which is completely fine on there. We wanted to try to, basically set the world on fire. Go out there, get our license, get all the stuff done, do everything right, and do that. Well, with that pressure on myself as a driver, Al as the chassis guy, and the team there going, yeah, let's get this done. We tried to, push it too hard, and as a collective team, we all kind of made the decision. Yeah, just keep going, keep going. Let's push it over, and we'll put the rear steer in it and stretch it out further, things like that. So that's what happened to cause the accident. And then I was, obviously in the car and inside the car. I basically it's upside down. You hear the roof being torn away, which is pretty. It's hard to get out of your head. You see the carburetors like getting ground down like that that are sticking up out of the hood. They sit there, and then all of a sudden, the intake manifold just breaks. There it goes. So then pull the fire suppression system. This is all while you're upside down, all of that stuff kind of gets into your head. And it took me a little while to, clear that out. Um, Mitch drops, "What's up, son? Shit looks good, baby." Thanks, Mitch. So yeah, all of that just took a while for me to get ready. So we didn't even touch the car for like 2 months. It just sat over there, and we didn't even touch it. I didn't even want to touch it. I went and I bought a street car, and I went and I had streetcar fun and my GTO stuff like that. I didn't want to do anything with it. After I kind of got used to it, okay, let's start tearing the car apart, things like that. And that's when we started the new build on this. We pulled the engine out. The engine that 632 all aluminum engine is gone. I worked out a couple of deals on this, that, the other thing, and that's gone. We still have the 600-inch nitrous engine. It needs the head repaired and like a sleeve and maybe a new piston or two, and then we'll probably just sell that, put it back into the car. Um, but yeah, when you have something like that, it was basically like I've said, it was like my dream car. Like I love third gens. I love nitrous. I've got it. I mean, I'm nitrous right there. I love nitrous, man. Um, but it was hard to get over that all the stuff there. Your dream car, you just got done building it, did all this stuff. You have people talking shit on the internet. Like people still talk shit on here too. That I did a live video. Anything that I do, I get haters that come out and go, "You're an idiot for doing whatever." I don't, you know what? Those are the same people that don't put themselves out there, and they'll sit on the internet and they're sitting in their mom's basement, thumbing away eating Cheetos. So whatever. But um, that was like I said, a big one to kind of get over. And once we got over it, we started building a new car. Kept going, and that's when Dad said, "Hey, let's go turbo." And I said, "Okay, well, let's take the 600-inch nitrous engine. We'll convert that over for a turbo setup." Speaking of turbo, there it is. Look at that big old thing. Bam. So, uh, they're just because you know what, Mitch. I got my new deal here, Mitch. There we go. I wish I could say all I do is win. Um, but there's been a lot of times that I didn't win. I win more rounds than I lose. We'll say that, But um, yeah, there's. How about we say this one, Mitch? They're just jealous that I've gone faster on my roof than they've ever been. How about that? That'll really spice them up. So, anyways, they we like I said, we got rid of 632. We were gonna rebuild the 600 inch nitrous engine, put a different crank in it, pull some stroke out of it, make like a 565, 570, something like that. And we were gonna then take that out on turbo and do that. So we bought this turbo. I saw a good deal on this. It was in southern Minnesota. Went and I bought that. Came with two different exhaust housings, this, that, the other thing. It was really cool. Got a great deal on it, and I was like, we're gonna do a turbo big block. And then I was talking with um, the Kilpatricks, and he said, "Hey, I've got my old Hemi sitting here." He goes, "You should put a Hemi in it." I'm like, "Yeah, I can't afford that Hemi life." And I still can't. But we we came to an agreement. They gave us a pretty good deal on it. They're helping us a lot, and so we bought the Hemi after we got rid of the other engine and things like that. So we went Hemi turbo, all of that, and that's how that kind of came about. It's not like we said, "Oh yeah, we're gonna tear apart this car and just go Hemi turbo and spend all this money and do change everything over." It would have been so much easier to stay big block Chevrolet turbo because I have big block starters, I've got big block bell housings, I've got big block flanges laying around to build turbo manifolds. I have all of that stuff sitting around here because we've done big block stuff for so long. Um, but we knew that on a Hemi, it's going to make so much more power. The maintenance between rounds is going to be a little bit easier because the valve covers, with the spark plugs in there, you don't have to try to come in from the side. All of that. So we decided, yeah, we'll do that. And so far, it's been a headache because everything is all new to us for this Hemi. For the racing side of it, but we know it's going to make really good power. I mean, these heads flow better than our nitrous heads did. Our nitrous heads flowed like 515, 520, something like that at like 900 lift, maybe at 1 inch of lift. These are flowing like 525 or 530 or something like that at like 800. So, and I could go up, but the flow benches that they've been on, they're 600 CFM, and they start not being real accurate at when it gets into that 530, 540. Even though they say it's a SF 600, the accuracy starts to go away. So, um, other than that, we've been fabbing away. You can see right there. That is our This is our puke tank. So we'll have the tubes coming off here and over to that, and one up right here. It'll come down to this. It's got a breather that goes up on top, and then a drain underneath. That's the new crank trigger and balancer. The crank trigger, and it didn't have a balancer on here when we got the engine because it was a blower engine. A lot of blower engines, big horsepower, stuff like that. They don't run a balancer. They just have it's a what do they call it? Basically a drive on the front on there. It's a crank support. There we go. It's a crank support. So it supports the crankshaft, and then the belt and all of that takes care of the harmonics on it. So it's a pretty cool setup for blower stuff like that. Um, so we had to figure out a balancer, figure out a crank trigger. You can buy the stuff, but like it works. It's a big block Chevrolet bolt pattern right on there. So I put that on. I have another big block Chevrolet, the magnetic pickup whole assembly like that. It just needs a little bit of machining and such like that, and it'll bolt right on. A new hole and everything like that, but it follows the sweep perfect. So we're just modifying what we have. It's what we've always done. It's all what we know. So we're gonna just continue to do what we know. So other than that, if you guys have any other questions, like I said, feel free to ask away. Otherwise, I've just been rambling for 30 some minutes now. Um, that's the billet oil filter on there. That one also does have, you can't see underneath right there, has a screw on Wix racing filter. So the Wix Racing filter is just an extra filtration on it, but it is the clear view on top, and we can just put the air to it, and it'll clear it out. We can see if there's any big debris on there. Helps us out a whole bunch. So when we're trying to maintenance this between rounds, everybody says, "Oh, maintenance on turbo cars is going to be super easy. You're going to love it because you don't have to pull plugs or like that." Well, guess what? We have to check the rockers every pass to every other pass on here because it's got a big cam in it and it's solid lifters and all that stuff on there. It's big stuff. So to pull the valve covers off of the Veni heads, you have to pull the spark plugs out. So yeah, I'm still gonna be pulling spark plugs every round or every other round. Um, Keep that beautiful rig off the no prep races. Not gonna happen, Mitch. Sorry. The no prep races, we love them. We're still gonna go to them. It's just we're going to. We've already talked, like I said, collectively as a team, and we're not even gonna even worry about the quarter-mile passes on there until we know that it's making perfect eighth mile hits. It's just not worth it. The amount of money we've spent in the last 2 years building two cars, we just can't do it again. So we'll still go to no prep stuff, but we're going to go to some events or tracks to test on before that, and it'll be a prep track. Make sure it's going straight, and then we'll get it figured out from there. But you can't keep me away from that no prep stuff. Like I said too, if for some reason they didn't open up any racetracks around here, we'll go hit a street. I don't care. I'm not going to put all this time and effort and money and everything into this car to let it sit here for a year because you know I don't want to get into political stuff, so we won't go in there. But because higher ups don't agree with other people, we'll just say that. So this COVID stuff is it seems like everybody is split on that, and we'll just leave it at that. So, um, you want a video of the street hit? I'll give you one with the GTO. Um, if this goes on the street to be able to make hits, I don't think there'll be videos of it because everybody's gonna know that car. Um, and we have really cool police officers and sheriff's deputies and everything around here in Brainerd, Minnesota. Um, but I don't think they're that cool. They're nice guys, and they'll let me get away with a lot, but they won't let me get away with putting a 3,000 horse car down on the street. Um, there is about 6 blocks from here, roughly. Uh, on Friday nights, they do this big, not big, but all these car guys get together, and it's a lot of the older car guys. They get together in a big parking lot and hang out, and it's at like an Advanced Auto Parts or something. And I know that if we idle this over there, we'd have enough fuel to get there and back. So I really want to do that. Just fire it up and drive it down the street, 6 blocks, 6 blocks, park it there and watch them all be like, oh my God, mind blown that we drove this, the big tire street car, carbon fiber wheelie bars, Hemi, the whole thing like that. We drove it over there and then drive it back. The problem with it is I literally have to get there. I literally have to drive by the fire department, the police station, the jail, the sheriff's department, and the courthouse. All of those. You have to drive by all of those just to get there. So there's that saying about the juice and the squeeze, and if it's worth it, if the juice ain't worth the squeeze type thing. I don't know if it's worth it, but it would be really cool. So, well, we're coming up on about 40 minutes, and I don't want to take up too much of everybody's time. I have to get back to work on this thing and get the intake on sealed up and such. But like I said, I want to give everybody an update where we're at. We're getting super close, and like I've said, is our hope is to fire this up on Monday, uh, which is today Saturday, so 2 days away. We're waiting on some parts that were overnight Saturday delivery. I think they might have come in while we were on here. When that stuff shows up, I'm going to just keep thrashing. And if we get it fired up on Monday, we'll do another live deal and show you guys. For it probably won't be the first fire that we're going to be live on because this is a whole new system for us, and the struggle bus is real on some things. So we don't want to, sit there and we'll tell you guys all about the struggles, but it could be, anywhere between an hour or 4 hours with new wiring and everything. So, but definitely, if we get it fired up, we'll do a live deal, do another fire up, and show you guys everything. And obviously, since we don't have the transmission, we're not going to put it on a trans brake, but we'll definitely get it there and make some noise and such. So thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody that likes, subscribe, ring the bell. Whenever you hear somebody say ring the bell, if you guys don't know what that means, is when you hit that bell notification, it'll send you an email or a notification on your phone or like that, oh, hey, Greg Schmidt or Bad Influence Racing Channel, they updated, hey, they have a new video or anything like that. So you can just subscribe, and then when you go into like subscribers on there, you'll see all the videos, or you can hit the bell, and then it just says, oh, hey, this came up right away. That's all it is. So whenever you hear people say that, if you don't know, that's what it is. We do have our new Bad Influence Racing shirts available, the Never Going Turbo. We showed that before. If you guys are interested in those, go to our Facebook page, Bad Influence. I think it's Bad Influence Racing or just Bad Influence on there. You'll see the one of the old cars on there. Go there. You can scroll down, see it. Send us a message. We're mailing them out right now, or you can stop in either one. We've got sizes from medium up to 4X. I think I only have like one 4X left. But yeah, we've got medium to 4X, all the shirts. You can order them. We'll send them out usually same day, depending on what time it is. And I think shipping is $7 for a shirt. I can't remember exactly because I just take them all down there and I just go here. The way they go. But yeah, I think it's shipping is $7. It says on there. So definitely order a shirt. And you've seen our Bad Influence hats that I have. I think I have like two of those left. If you want one of those, send us a message there. Those are 25 because they are embroidered snapback, flat bill, everything like that. So cool, guys. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your Memorial Day, and hopefully, if you see us pop up again on Monday, that means this thing's making some noise, and we're getting closer to hitting the track. So have a good one.